Welcome, everybody. I hope you're having a fantastic day so far. And thank you for joining me for the Google for Games Developer Summit 2021. So, today there are three sessions that we're going to take a look at. They're all Stadia related. The first one that's starting here just in a couple of minutes is the Stadia Keynote. And if we just read based upon the description here, it says, "Come hear the latest and greatest from one of Stadia's business development leads. You'll learn about new offerings for all Stadia partners and how the Stadia team is working to make it easier to bring games to the platform while delivering new ways to maximize the return on launching Stadia titles." So, just a reminder, of course, as the name implies, this is developer oriented, so it's geared toward developers. But I thought it would be interesting to stream and live reaction and chat about it while it's going on. It is Stadia related, and things like this do interest me. So I thought, well, hey, let's go ahead and stream these three sessions here. It's about an hour long total. We'll start here. It should start in just a few moments here with the Stadia keynote. Then the next session, which is immediately right after it, less time porting and certing, more time creating, and then bringing new value to Stadia partners. So hopefully this will give us a look, at some of the things going on behind the scenes at Google with Stadia. I know a lot of people have questions about that, so hopefully this will give some insight. And I just thank you everybody for stopping by here, and I think it's going to be very interesting. Quite a few people in the chat, so shout out. Oh boy, I don't know. There's over 30 people in the chat, so I don't know if I could. I don't want to miss anybody here, but I do see Gunter, Jack, Danny, Sedner, Robert, Big Daddy of Four, Grand Feud, Predator Lord. Let's see, Pecan Fusion, Francisco, Roger, Game On with Tony, Ian Zarina, Vet Cloud Gaming. How you doing, buddy? Hope you're feeling better. And Endeavor is here as well. So while we're waiting for this to start, which is in a few moments here, I'd like to just take a moment or two to talk about the Stadia Community Championship, or actually the Summer Community Championship on Stadia. Um, as you may well know, or if you don't know, it's a competition that has started just a few days ago, and you can win up to $1,400 in prizes. I've got info on the bot that'll cycle through here as we watch the stream, but you can head over to the stadiahunters.com, and signups are still available. It's completely free, so you don't have to worry about, there's no type of sign up fees. And the best thing is you get to play games and compete, and who knows, you might win the $1,000 grand prize. There are prizes for the top spots for each week. So head on over there, stadiahunters.com. You'll see up in the top, along the top there's a spot for the Summer Community Championship, and you can get all your details there. Sign up, and we also do live streaming of the your entries as well, and commentary on that. So it's just a fun time. So I highly recommend everyone check that out. And we should be here just in a few moments. Looks like about a minute or two. This should go live here. Let's hit the refresh. You usually don't have to hit the refresh anyways, as this will go live right here in the session. And just in case it doesn't, I'm prepared. We've got the YouTube link just in case. Hey, Alex, thanks for stopping by. Lord Vivek, Aswi, I1, Charles, Death Alive, Cosino, Pitbull Pluto. Wow. So there's a question. Ian's asking if I'm competing in the tournament, and no, Ian, I'm not. I would love to compete in the tournament, but unfortunately, I've got a lot going on right now, so I'll gracefully bow out of that tournament and just be happy to help talk about it. Oh, looks like we're getting something here. And help promote and also be streaming some attempts here this Friday. So be on the lookout for that as well. Alrighty, so it looks like we're gonna get started here. Oh, alrighty. So let me know how that sound is. If it's too loud, I can definitely turn it down, but it should be okay. And here we go. Very interesting. I'm curious as to what they're going to say. There we go. So I turned the volume down there somewhat. Let me know how the volume is now for everybody.
Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for joining the Stadia Keynote today at the 2021 Google for Games Developer Summit. I'm so happy to be here, and I'm very excited about our announcements. Today, we're focusing solely on Stadia game partners, both developers and publishers, so no cool game announcements or trailers are part of this presentation. My name is Karine Yap.
Good way to set
I work on the Stadia
expectations.
business development team, and I've spent the last 20 years working to acquire content from some of the most amazing teams in this industry. I started at THQ back when PlayStation 2 was considered next gen, and then worked with D3 Publisher, Konami, Gaikai, and now I'm here at Google. Thank you so much for joining us. I wish you were here in person. As with any good story, we like to take a look back at where we've been before we look at what's to come. We also have 2 other sessions today, both of which will go into more detail about our announcements, so please join the sessions so you don't miss out on any information.
Nice.
The Stadia story began long before our first public unveil in 2018. We started with the simple yet challenging goal of proving that Google could deliver high-resolution visuals to gamers with incredibly low latency using Google technology. The first public reveal of this technology was in October 2018 with the launch of Assassin's Creed Odyssey from the incomparable team at Ubisoft. It was called simply Project Stream. It was the first time a user could play, day and date, a remarkable, low-latency, AAA game streaming experience from any laptop. We then went on to publicly announce Stadia at GDC in March 2019. We painted a bold vision for the future of streaming AAA games across any connected device without the need for local physical hardware. Thank you to every one of our partners for working with us. We look forward to continuing to work with you and with the rest of the industry on this journey.
Yes, awesome.
Next was the launch of Stadia in November of 2019, where gamers were able to play Stadia for themselves on their own connected devices. Throughout 2020, we worked to deliver on the original promise of Stadia by adding a multitude of platform features. Highlights include Crowd Play, which gives players the ability to jump right into the multiplayer game they're watching on YouTube. Crowd Choice, where viewers can make game decisions for the YouTube creators streaming the game they're watching. And free game demos, where in October of last year, we enabled viewers to watch a trailer for an unreleased game, click a link, and then instantly try that game. Remember,
I agree, Jack.
anyone in a Stadia-supported country can use their Gmail account to sign up for Stadia for free, click to claim a game, and click to play a game on a wide range of connected devices without the need to purchase additional hardware. Late last year, we worked with the phenomenal developers at CD Projekt Red and brought to streaming one of the most expansive games ever developed, Cyberpunk 2077. It was so exciting for the Stadia team to hear the collective feedback. Stadia was one of the best places to play one of the year's biggest games. Thanks to the efforts of our content team, Stadia is also the home of the Stadia Makers program, built specifically to help smaller game development teams join the Stadia family and empower them to reach players in new ways. Our Makers community has launched so many creative and unique games, including 100 Days, Caves in the Wild Masks, Dark Side Detective, and Unto the End, to name a few. These Makers games are available now on Stadia, with even more great games coming soon. If you're interested in being part of the Stadia development community, head on over to stadia.dev and apply. It's these kinds of creative and innovative concepts from the Stadia Makers community that inspire our team each and every day. Thank you to all of our Stadia Makers partners. We look forward to expanding this community, and we have some announcements coming up later in the session that I think you're really going to like. As always, and definitely in my opinion, partners are a crucial part of Stadia. Please know that we are constantly working to improve your experience to bring games to our platform, and we have more details around new tools and other improvements to share in our technical session later today. To date, our partners have shipped more than 180 games on Stadia. These titles support all types of business models, from free-to-play to transactional to game demos, playable anywhere in the 22 countries that Stadia supports. And now they're playable on more devices than ever before. Today you can access Stadia on no less than hundreds of millions of devices currently in the market. Anything from computers to Android and iOS phones to tablets to a growing list of TVs, thanks to our new Android TV support. The numbers of devices will continue to expand, with smart TVs joining the list later this year. The team at Stadia is working very hard to expand our footprint, grow the addressable Stadia market, and deliver on Google's goal of democratizing access to great gameplay experiences for everyone. One of the ways Stadia continues to make games more accessible and easier to play is through our 1-month free trial of Stadia Pro. Stadia Pro is our monthly subscription service that allows subscribers to access a variety of great games with new titles added every month. It's one of the benefits our players love about Stadia. Recently, we've asked ourselves, how can we ensure partners benefit more readily from our subscription? And here's where things get more exciting. Starting this month, any new title that enters into Stadia Pro under the new Stadia Pro terms will earn a slice of monthly revenue from the service. Stadia Pro will give back 70% of monthly revenue to partners based upon engagement for active, claimable Stadia Pro titles. To make this as easy as possible, engagement will be measured by session days. One user playing one Stadia Pro game twice on day 1 equals 1 session day. A user that plays a Stadia Pro game once on day 1 and once on day 2 equals 2 session days. We're also unveiling a new way to power player engagement through our affiliate marketing program. As a digital-only platform, Stadia has the unique ability to generate a link to a partner's game and provide data for how that link performs and the players it brings to Stadia and to the game. We call it a click-to-play link. Players can click on your unique click-to-play link and play the great games available in Stadia Pro during the free trial we offer to all new users. Once that player converts from a free Stadia Pro trial to a paid Pro subscription, you'll get $10 per user from Stadia, or the local currency equivalent. This in addition to your slice of the Stadia Pro monthly revenue. No other game platform does this, and we are very excited to offer our affiliate marketing program to our partners in the first half of next year.
That's fantastic.
Alan Joyce, a Stadia product manager and one of my favorite members of the team, has a session later today called Growing the Pie, where he'll detail how we're using click-to-play technology to enable this program. You're not going to want to miss it. Last, but certainly not least, is an important announcement about games available for purchase on the Stadia store. Starting in Q4 this calendar year, we're launching a limited time incentive program that adjusts our revenue share for newly signed games to an 85-15 split for game sales up to a $3 million threshold. This will apply to all games launching in Q4 of this year and in 2022 and in 2023. That means you, as a Stadia partner, will earn 85% of your title sales and Google will earn 15%. Once your title's total sales reach a $3 million threshold, the revenue share will revert back to the current split. So that's good news from a revenue-generating perspective. But in order to access these new partner incentives, you first need to develop your game for Stadia. The Stadia team has gathered a lot of feedback from partners to ensure we continue to build new tools and functionality to make development, submission, and certification of a Stadia title easier than ever, and we are constantly improving this process. Over the past year, we've invested in simplifying certification for all partners. We're creating easier workflows to test across all of Stadia endpoints with our new Test Hub tool. We're decoupling certain pieces of the developer journey so that teams can work independently from one another, and we're continually investing both time and resources to improve our support of game engines, whether custom or licensed. Our goal is to make Stadia development as close to turnkey as possible. There's a great session coming up later in the day that will dig into more detail of the technical work in progress, featuring more of my favorite team members, Elizabeth, Ryan, and Robert. Please make sure to catch this one if you'd like more information. Both of our Stadia sessions will provide important details about everything we've been working on. The reason we've done all this great work, the reason I'm here today talking to you, is that we know. We know games are what make a platform great, and we want your games to come to Stadia. To apply to be a Stadia developer, go to stadia.dev, our developer website. When you click to apply on stadia.dev, you'll first fill out a 2-page application form. This request can seem pretty basic, but it's crucial information that goes directly to the Stadia review team and to me, and it helps us prioritize your requests, so please don't take it lightly. So a quick recap. We're working hard to continually improve Stadia for our players and for our partners. Our platform, user adoption, and user sentiment are all growing and improving. We want you as a partner, and we want to play your games on our platform. So please go to stadia.dev to find out more and apply to become a Stadia partner. Thank you very much.
Wow. Let me go ahead here until the next stream starts. But wow, that was very interesting. You can see that they are taking a very, very aggressive approach at attracting development for Stadia, especially with starting with the Q4 of this year and then up until the end of 2023, allowing developers to get 85% cut of the profits, and Google only takes 15%. So that's pretty good. Also incentives for getting your games for Stadia Pro as well, converting players to the Stadia Pro subscription. Wow, that is very impressive, and you can see that really Google's doubling down on Stadia here and full throttle ahead. They're gunning for it, and trying to make it as attractive as possible. So that's very impressive and encouraging, to say the least. So wow, that's awesome news. All right, so while we're here, we'll get the music playing until the next session starts here in a couple of minutes. So I did see while we were watching that, Predator Lord advised that this week on Stadia blog post is delayed. So I guess maybe that's coming out later today as well. And there's some sales up on the Stadia store. So yeah, this is I'm impressed so far. I loved the way that they started this out by, giving you a history on Stadia, where they've been and where they're going. So very, very aggressive, and it's very encouraging to see that. So next up, and to the point, no fluff or anything else. So the next up, what we're going to see is called, the next session is less time porting and certing and more time creating. So learn from Stadia product managers about how we're making it more efficient to bring games to Stadia with significant investments in cloud native tooling and automated certification processes, as well as third-party engine improvements. So we did see a little bit mentioned there about Unity and Unreal. So again, it's very interesting to see this developer side for those that really don't think that Google's not in this for the long haul, or not putting any push behind it. I mean, just there in 10 minutes we saw what their commitment is to the platform, and it's very, very encouraging. So I'm impressed so far. Yeah, Roger, that's right. They're only taking 15% up to the first $3 million, and the industry standard is 30%. So that's fantastic. So, and I also like the incentives for bringing your games to Stadia Pro, how you get a cut of their revenue share. So, for those wondering, oh, well, what benefit do I have to bring my game to Stadia Pro? Well, right there's a good point. So here we are. Should just be a few minutes here. And guys, thank you all so much for coming out. If you're enjoying this so far, please don't forget to hit that like button. If you haven't subscribed, hit subscribe. I'm always streaming Stadia related info and games. I've got contests going on. You can check me out. All the details in the description here for Discord, Twitter, whatnot. And again, thank you so much, everybody. So let's see here. Wow. Oh, so I see Sekiro's on sale. Amazing. I think that's the first time. Oh, here we go. Here's our next premiere. Let's turn it up a bit here. There we go. We give it about half volume and let's go. Less time porting and inserting, more time creating.
Thank you so much for joining our Stadia technical session. Less time porting and inserting, more time creating. Today you'll hear from myself. I'm Elizabeth, a product manager on the Stadia team, as well as Ryan Bartley, a PM joining us from Austin, Texas, and Robert Edelman, one of our PMs based in Munich, Germany. The focus of this presentation is how we're making it easier than ever to bring your games to Stadia. We spent the time since Stadia's launch listening to partner feedback and working to address some of the largest challenges they experience. We'll be discussing the investments we're making to make this process easier and more efficient. First, I'll begin by covering the developer iteration improvements we're making to help automate and simplify some of the more manual and tedious processes on Stadia, and how we're beginning to really lean into the cloud-native nature of our platform. Ryan will then dive into everyone's favorite topic, certification, and describe how changes we are making are expected to reduce the churn and pain it takes to meet and pass Stadia's technical requirements, as well as the continued improvements we're making to the overall process of certification and publishing. Finally, Robert will discuss the work we're doing to make it easier to bring Unity and Unreal titles to Stadia, as well as specific investments for custom engines using the Stadia Porting Toolkit, which we'll continue to build out and add to over time.
That's interesting.
To start, I'm going to talk about some of the recently launched and upcoming features that help support the developer experience on Stadia. Specifically, a set of cloud-native development features focus on making it easy to launch, manage, and review your developer sessions. First, let's talk about testing on endpoints. One of the best things about Stadia is that it works across a variety of screens. Whether you're playing on your old Android phone, Mac laptop, Chromebook, chances are Stadia is just going to work. But for Stadia developers, testing a title across mobile, TV, and web has historically been a painful process, requiring developers to do quite a bit for what should be a relatively common workflow. And the data supports this. Almost 90% of developer sessions are in Test Client, which is our developer-side streaming client. Now, while the experience in Test Client is similar to that of playing as a player on web, it doesn't have all of the client-side features that gamers expect, like achievements. And if you look at player endpoints, for example, Chromecast, fewer than 1% of developer sessions are on TV. TV is where we see some of the strongest engagement on the part of players. This data shows that most sessions aren't being tested in environments that gamers actually play on. If it were easier to test on all screens, we'd expect a better distribution of testing. To address this common pain point, we are taking advantage of the benefits of cloud development and making available the ability to launch to TV, web, and mobile in just one step from the command line, Visual Studio, or a developer site, the partner portal. This will enable rapid iteration without additional steps. We expect this to save hours in the life of a Stadia developer. This feature is going live first for launches to web and then mobile and TV over the next few months. Now, being able to easily test your title on all endpoints is just the start. We're also launching a new set of cloud-native tools that will enable you to have the capabilities and powers of a developer while playing as a gamer, no matter what endpoint you're on. Our new suite of cloud-native tools will also unlock new use cases for distributed collaboration. Test Hub will enable developers to seamlessly test their games across mobile, TV, and web, while getting all of the tools and real-time data they need to understand and control their game. This allows partners to debug issues with comprehensive logs and feedback, both during and after the session. Test Hub will become the best place to launch a game, debug a game when things go wrong, manage a game, and control platform variables of a game, like setting resolution overrides or emulating different network conditions. So you could be playing a game on Chromecast and in real time monitor your frame rate stability in Test Hub, or see logs streamed in real time in the browser as you continue to play on TV. We're launching Test Hub in a series of phases. Our initial launch in the coming months will be focused on tooling, consolidation, and improvement. specifically bringing features from the Stadia Developer Chrome extension and test client in one place,
Wow.
with priority given to STR graphs and tools. Over time, we'll continue to add functionality to Test Hub, supporting every component of the developer lifecycle. The data available to Stadia developers is extensive and growing, but the process of extracting and saving that data is a challenging and manual process. This is why we launched Game Runs, which seeks to improve this experience by automating the capture, retrieval, and display of useful data surrounding a game's execution. Game Runs are a new, persistent repository of all the game log, session data, artifacts, and other information that are generated while playing your game, captured automatically, which you can share with anyone in your team, anywhere, at any time. No more downloading log files or wondering what build you're running. It's all right there, accessible through a unique Game Run URL. We expect this feature to significantly improve distributed cross-team, cross-geo collaboration. And with the upcoming launch of Test Hub, you'll have access to all of your past game runs in one place. And now I'll hand it over to Ryan to talk about how we're making publishing and certification easier for partners.
Hey everyone,
those are some pretty cool
Ryan.
tools.
Great to be here talking to you virtually from my house in Austin. I'm a PM on Stadia, and today I'll be detailing several ways in which we are making it easier to certify and publish your titles on Stadia. For those that don't know, certification is the last hurdle before launching your game in the Stadia store, and it's something that exists on almost all modern games.
Check out the developer Stadia controller in the background there, clear.
Technical requirements, or STRs.
I want that.
To ensure that Stadia players are getting a reliable experience when they play a game on Stadia. Historically, this process has been quite difficult on Stadia for development teams, as you can see. But we've spent the last year listening and learning from our partners to reduce the overall effort certification takes. These efforts were focused on three main areas of improvement. First, we'll talk about simplified requirements. We've simplified and removed several existing STRs, so it's easier for your development teams to fulfill the requirements while still maintaining the level of quality that Stadia players expect. Next, we'll dive into more tooling enhancements and how the Game Runs feature will help your team pass certification faster and more efficiently. Finally, we'll highlight decoupling, a project that allows your team to work in parallel, ensuring high efficiency and throughput. With all these improvements, we have one overarching goal in mind: enabling all partners to pass certification on their first try. Now, let's talk about each effort in a bit more depth, starting with simplifying the STRs themselves. Just as an example, at launch, we required all games to run at 4K HDR surround sound. This was an admittedly hard target for many partners to reach. Since then, we've removed these requirements for games that don't already support these features on other consoles. We know that certain requirements are more difficult for your game to reach than others. That's why over the last few quarters, we have been working to simplify and remove any STR that doesn't add sufficient value to our players' experience. In total, we've removed around 30 different test cases and simplified more than 25 of our most complicated STR test cases. And we're just getting started. We'll be introducing several new updates soon to make the requirements even easier to meet. Predictability and stability are also key areas we've improved on. When we launched, we were releasing SDK and SDR updates every 3 weeks. We've sought to slow down our release cadence of STRs and freeze our SDK update requirements, giving your team the time it needs to stabilize your game before release. And to make sure we're not introducing any more unnecessary STRs or making any changes that don't need to be made, we created an internal review board for all things STRs that ensures these requirements are meaningful and achievable. We hope these changes give teams ample opportunity to make their games great without worrying about Stadia's certification. Once your team learns the requirements, though, the next step would be testing these requirements out on your actual game. And I'm excited to say that we made a lot of improvements here. Originally, the process of testing STRs could be pretty frustrating. A lot of enormous CLI commands, SSHing logs, and checking charts to determine what we may have meant by each requirement. Since then, we've leaned into the cloud-native nature of Stadia and not only simplified the process of knowing you're in the right testing environment, but also automated the processing of STR test case results themselves. Our goal here is really to make it so you don't even have to install a Stadia SDK to test your entire game for certification. Getting
That's
into the
pretty
correct
cool.
environment and being able to
Streamlining the
rely upon the
development.
results is incredibly important to us. To push this further for certification, we created a small set of configurations your team and our certifications team will use when launching the game that
The good
will
old worm
reduce
game.
what we heard over and over about how difficult it was to know you're in the right environment. We've even gone one step further by giving you a way to change your entire environment into the certification environment. This will let you test things exactly like certification does. The STR scorecard is a post-run summary attached to the game runs feature Elizabeth spoke about earlier, allowing teams to receive and share automatic feedback into how their game would perform during technical certification. The scorecard
cool.
currently supports many STR test cases and will be rolling out support for all other STRs over the next few releases.
You can
Further,
simulate the
scorecard
certification
and
before
game
you
runs
submit it.
will become a permanent feature of the certification report so that you can reliably get the information that you need and understand how to use it. Each certification will therefore come with the correlating game run and STR scorecard. We'll also be adding other things to the run that may be helpful, like links to any crash dumps we may have, or images and video to help your team solve issues faster and easier. We've already received a ton of positive feedback from our certification operations that these tools are going to be really helpful, and we can't wait to begin rolling this out to our partners. Finally, let's talk a little bit about some improvements we made to the actual submission process. Partners spoke to us about how difficult it was to have multiple teams submitting and iterating during the actual certification process. And while our goal is only one certification, we know there will be times when partners need to change things in parallel. That's why we created the project called Decoupling. When we launched the certification process, the entire process bunched around the submission. All parties had to prepare their entire submission and submit it all at once. This became a big problem as different teams worked at different paces, causing a logjam effect. Over the past year, we invested heavily in this process to split out the technical parts of the submission assets from the store and pricing assets. This allows your development, publishing, and marketing teams to operate independently from one another and at their own pace. The feature is called Launch Packs. In other words, you can submit store assets for certification to make sure everything is in the right place and will show up properly for consumers right alongside or before or after your title goes into technical certification.
Wow.
And we hope to keep making this better and better over time by removing and consolidating unnecessary process requirements. Since we launched this in Q1, we're already hearing great things about it, and we're going to continue to improve upon it to increase your team's efficiency. Even though many of the things we've talked about today are just coming out or will come out soon, we're already seeing our goal of one single certification trending in the right direction. This trend line shows that the number of average submissions per title has been dropping over time, and we're going to keep working to lower this number until it reaches 1. Next, we'll speak to Robert about the porting journey and third-party engine support with Unity and Unreal.
Wow.
Hi, and a very warm welcome from Munich. I'm Robert, and I'm going to talk about porting improvements. Let's get started with Unity and Unreal. In the next 3 slides, I'm going to show you what we did already and what we're actively working on at the moment to ensure we come to an even better integration with these powerful creation ecosystems. The first goal is quite clear. We want to make sure that development workflows are even more seamless and things just work out of the box, both for development as well as certification. In order to get there, we're at the moment finalizing our support for platform agnostic APIs, so you as a developer can stay as much as possible in your Unity and Unreal world, and you only have to take a look at the Stadia API if you're working on very platform-specific topics. And as a second thing, we are continuously improving on our integration. Just some examples of recent improvements. If you're working with Unity, you do not have to open a manual SSH tunnel anymore for debugging. We improved file transfer speeds. We have now full out-of-the-box support for Unity and Unreal games in our own CPU and system profiler. So you can take a deep look at the game and optimize aspects And we improved expression evaluation and NUTVIS support, which should come in very handy specifically if you're working with Unreal. A second goal we're pursuing is to support you as a developer around a few aspects where Stadia differs compared to other platforms. This means generic controllers, hot swapping of input types, because this can be quite time consuming. A second pillar of support is around network latency, compensation, network variability testing, so everything around the cloud nature of our platform. And as a third pillar of support, we also want to help you if you're coming from a modified engine version based on source code or a completely custom engine. And in this case, you have basically three options. You can always upgrade to a newer version of Unity and Unreal, but this can be time consuming. Or in case of Unreal, you can use a library of code components we're going to provide to make sure your game runs on Stadia. Or you can use the Stadia porting toolkit, which I'm going to introduce in 2 slides from now. Last but not least, we're improving our examples and documentation. Regarding documentation, at the moment, we're integrating the official Stadia documentation better with the Unity and Unreal documentation. And regarding examples, you can expect 3 things. First, a complete game that certifies out of the box that shows you how things are working holistically together. But in addition to that, we'll also add specific examples for key aspects, and you can expect examples for Stadia exclusive features. In case you're coming from a standard version of Unity and Unreal, things
useful.
will just work out of the box. But in case you're coming from a modified version or a completely custom version, then the Stadia porting toolkit has the potential to drastically reduce the effort required to bring a game on our platform. The goal is quite clear: to reduce time to first light, because this will reduce project risks. The idea is that you can keep your game, your Windows game, as much as possible, and you do not have to develop against new APIs, but you can just link against new libraries. And most things will just work out of the box. So specifically, you do not have to change your game from DirectX to Vulkan.
That's
the
big. That is
consists
big.
of 2 parts.
That's major.
The key part is a set of translation libraries, and we have already early access versions of translation libraries from DirectX 9, 10, 11 to Vulkan, and we're actively working on more. And first feedback from partners is very promising, so we'll definitely continue along this line and extend our API support. And the second component inside the Stadia porting toolkit is a set of tools we're still actively working on, and these tools will help you to bring your source code over on our platform. This means things like ensuring source code compiler compliance, but also supporting you around aspects like 32-bit to 64-bit conversion. When it comes
sure
to
does,
porting,
Jack.
one aspect is bringing over the big blocks like DirectX to Vulkan. And around these big blocks, the Stadia porting toolkit will help you. But in addition to that, it's also a lot about the general quality of development tools, because you will iterate a lot. You will debug, build, and optimize things. And when it comes to development tools, we made major improvements. So when you take a recent version of the Stadia SDK and compare it to the state 1 year ago, now you can step 10 times faster through code in Visual Studio. We drastically improved the up and download times from files to and from the instance. We have much clearer error messages now. We also have our own CPU and system profiler Orbit, which is already part of the SDK and which will keep improving. This tool gives you holistic insights into how the different components of the system are working together. And we have an early access version of our own GPU profiler, which will give you deep insights on the graphics side, both into the what as well as the why. And you can expect more. Like Elizabeth said, more tools which will increasingly leverage the cloud nature of our platform for better collaboration and remote work. And very soon you can also expect, for example, iterative uploading and distribution of large asset files. With that, I'm already coming to the end, and I want to leave you with 3 key messages. The first is that both development as well as certification on Stadia is getting easier. It's actually getting much easier. And we're getting there based on the 3 pillars of work you've heard about in this presentation. First, we're increasingly leveraging the cloud nature of our platform for better collaboration, better remote work. We're going to ease certification, provide you more transparency and automation around the certification process. We will continue to improve our development tools, and we're going to provide you dedicated accelerator components like the Stadia porting toolkit, which will very considerably reduce the effort when bringing a project on our platform. Now is therefore a really good time to get started with development on Stadia, And if you're interested, please go to stadia.dev. There you'll find more information. On behalf of Elizabeth, Ryan, and myself, let me say thanks a lot for your time today, and we're very much looking forward to seeing you in person, hopefully soon.
Wow. Wow. That was quite impressive. I mean, I won't begin to even say that I 100% understood everything there, but what we can take away from that is that Google's listened to developers. They're making it easier to develop and bring games to Stadia, native cloud tools, reducing the certification requirements, um, just overall making things easier to bring your games to Stadia. And like Jack mentioned in the comments there, some of the tools that it looks like that they're, bringing your Windows games over to Stadia kind of looks like Proton that, Jack was talking about in the numbers show just the other week. So it's, again, very interesting to see that how Google is taking this feedback from the developers and trying to streamline the process of bringing your games, developing your games, for Stadia. A big push for Unity and the Unreal Engine, probably the two most popular game engines out there. Also support for bringing your own custom engine over into the Stadia environment. So, it's very, very interesting, and it's good to see. And a lot of the Stadia community members, I think this will give them some insight too, because there's a lot that are very excited, and we help try to make developers aware. Oh, we'd love to see your game on Stadia. Now, this gives you a better understanding of some of the tools and the requirements and the background on things that that developers have to go through to bring their games on Stadia, and what Google's doing to make it easier. So this looks fantastic. And I don't know what the requirements are, say, to bring a game to Xbox, PlayStation, or Nintendo. So I really can't compare the certification requirements or the development tools. But from what I can see here, it looks like Google's taking the feedback from the developers and improving on it, and willing to work and do whatever they need to do to bring more games to the platform. So we're just waiting now. Let me bring the volume down. And our next and final session is bringing a new value to Stadia partners. So that should start here in just a few moments. Brand new incentives are coming to Stadia, and they empower developers to drive their success in awesome ways. Come learn how to make the most out of publishing your game on Stadia and take advantage of everything the platform has to offer. So that's, again, interesting. It's good to get this background info and insight on things, and I do appreciate everybody coming out here and spending watching this together, chatting about it. And it's awesome to see the different comments in the chat here. I know there's some developers here in the chat as well, so it's interesting to see those comments and takes on it as well. So again, thank you everybody. I really do appreciate it. And I'll do a quick plug. My next stream will be on Thursday. Got it scheduled out here on my YouTube channel, Streets of Rage 4 multiplayer with Mr. Byram. Paul and I are going to be playing it. So I encourage you, stop by, and who knows, maybe I'll be doing a giveaway for a Stadia game during the stream. You never know. So just a few moments here before our next session takes part, and we'll see what's in store for us. But yeah, I did notice in this one here, the Stadia developer, I guess not the developer, I guess part of the team that helped launch Stadia got custom clear controllers there. And I did see it up on the shelf in the background there. So I would love to be able to get my hands on that one day. But unless someone really sells it on eBay or something, I don't think so. So, yeah, very interesting. I'm glad I see a lot of people in the chat too finding this interesting as well. So it's fantastic. Yeah, Lord Vivek, a gaming Scarmy giveaway. You never ever know. Oh, here we go. Let's pump up the jam. And here we go. Hey, Barclay, thanks for stopping by.
Hi, folks. It's great to be here with you today, although, of course, I'm looking forward to the time when we can all meet together in person again. Thanks for joining me for our session on bringing new value to Stadia partners. My name is Alan Joyce, and I'm a product management lead on Team Stadia. That means that my team and I are responsible for many of the features and tools that both players and developers see across our platform. Today, I'm going to be covering a range of topics, all centered around delivering the most value possible to partners. I'll give an overview of the technology and tools that Stadia offers to promote your games. We'll discuss our new revenue share changes that will increase the return on your development investment. I'll provide more details on our new affiliate marketing program.
I saw that too,
and
we'll
talk about how to best utilize all of this to enhance the success of your games on Stadia.
The white controller up in the shelf there.
It's always good to reacquaint everyone with some Stadia
Looks
basics.
like there's the clear controller up there right beside the San Jose Sharks item there.
In turn,
so I think he's
OG. Opportunity for publishers and developers. So how does Stadia do this? First is reach. Stadia is currently available in 22 countries, and nearly anyone in those countries can play a Stadia game across millions of supported devices. This significantly expands the ability of high-end games to reach users who don't have high-end hardware. Second is access. With just the click of a link on any compatible device, users can try a new game or pick up where they left off. Third is convenience. Many Stadia games, including every Stadia Pro game, are playable for free for new players without waiting for a single install or download. Our user research tells us that this convenience is really valuable to players, but it can also have huge benefits to publishers, improving the effectiveness of your promotion by removing some of the biggest barriers for gamers to start playing. Okay, let's dive in a bit deeper. Today, Stadia is available across a huge range of screens. Hundreds of millions of individual devices across the world can play Stadia games. With cloud game streaming, the addressable market for your games on Stadia is pretty mind-blowing and ever expanding. As one example, we recently launched Stadia on Android TV devices, as well as Chromecast with Google TV, and fully launched Stadia on our iOS web app. There's more on the way later this year and next, such as a partnership we recently announced to bring Stadia to LG smart TVs.
Yes.
Last year, we debuted a technology that we call Click to Play. It enables exactly that. A player can click a link and play a game. But for developers, it means something more. That you can use your existing communities or the far reaches of the internet to post a link and bring people seamlessly into your game. And not only that, but Click to Play allows you to see which marketing channel brings in the most players. Post a Click to Play link on social media, and you'll be able to see exactly which social channels bring the most people into your game. And it's when you couple Click to Play with Stadia Pro, which is free for every new user for the first month, that things can get really interesting. Users get to play dozens of games with one monthly subscription, while you get a low-friction way to introduce your games to new players. Stadia Pro is a big focus for us on the Stadia team this year as well. We're investing in third-party partnerships with folks like OnePlus, Lenovo, AT&T, Asus, and others. As an example, in June, we launched a program with AT&T where millions of their fiber and 5G subscribers were offered 6 free months of Stadia Pro to play on their devices. We're also continuing to work closely with our internal partners. We worked with YouTube last year to offer Stadia Pro to YouTube Premium subscribers, and we'll be continuing that partnership later this year. This is in addition to making extended Stadia Pro trials available to all Chromebook users as well as all Google One subscribers. And perhaps best of all is what we announced in our keynote session today. For the very first time, we're now giving back a chunk of Stadia Pro revenue to partners. An industry-leading 70% of monthly Pro subscription revenue will be going directly back to partners that have claimable games in Stadia Pro starting this month. We're basing this monthly payment on session days. For example, if a player were to come back to play your game once per day for 5 days, this would be 5 session days. Coming back and playing twice per day for 5 days still counts as 5 session days. We did this to keep it as fair as possible across different types of game genres.
Makes sense.
As game developers and publishers have ways like email or other CRM mechanics to bring your community of players back to your game on a recurring basis in a given month, click-to-play links can help make that journey seamless for players while increasing revenue for you. We are also introducing a brand new incentive program that cuts Google's revenue share to 15% for the first $3 million. Partners will get 85% of revenue up to that $3 million threshold, after which point we'll revert to our current split. This improved revenue share will be in place starting in October of this year or earlier, and will run through at least 2023. It will apply to the life of the title for every new game that accepts our new terms and launches in that time frame. That goes for full games, microtransactions, pre-orders, and add-on content. So there are multiple paths to revenue on Stadia, multiple ways users can access your games. And of course, the more users, the better. So we're also building tools to make it easy for Stadia partners to create their own success. What does that mean? Well, for the first time, we're going to pay developers for using the unique benefits and power of click-to-play links to bring users into Stadia Pro.
This affiliate marketing program?
We'll pay you $10 or local currency equivalent for every new user that follows your click-to-play link, signs up for Stadia Pro, and converts to a paid subscriber after their free trial ends. This is a first-of-its-kind program that's only possible because of the way Stadia works.
Awesome.
Because both promotion and playing happen with the same click-to-play link, we can connect the dots and let you share in more of the value of your own promotion. This affiliate marketing program will launch in the first half of next year. You have communities of passionate fans who want to support you on Discord, mailing lists, social media, and so on. You can provide a direct benefit to them simply by using click-to-play links, and everyone wins. You can also utilize advertising, YouTube creator partnerships, and other marketing channels. Because these are just links, they can be shared anywhere.
That's a good question, Jack.
Using links to drive users to your game is good for users, providing a fast and easy route into the games that they want to play. It's also good for Stadia partners. It increases both total session days in Stadia Pro and your share of those days, which means a bigger revenue pot and a bigger share of that pot accrued to your title.
Nice.
And finally, it's also good for the platform. It increases the health of the Stadia ecosystem overall, which is why this is worth it for us. It's a virtuous cycle. This is particularly powerful when you start to utilize Stadia enhanced features as well. We have some entirely optional APIs that allow you to integrate cloud-native features into your games. One such feature is State Share. We've talked about State Share before, and it's live on the platform in a few games, including a series I have spent literally hundreds of hours with, the Hitman World of Assassination trilogy. Effectively, these are playable captures, deep-linked game states that users can drop right into. Custom challenges, specific moments, whatever you want to share, the power is in your hands. We've seen State Share yield an 8x increase in views on shared content. Because viewers can easily click to play themselves, this viral loop can be an effective way to further drive session days for a game. For every 10 users that view a shared game state, we see one jumping directly into the game to become a player. So why are captures so important and such a powerful tool? Well, we see this in action with YouTube. YouTube is the #1 discovery surface for users finding new games. YouTube can be another launching off point for click-to-play experiences. For example, YouTube creators can help get the word out about your game or add-on content while linking their viewers directly into it via a click-to-play link that you provide. However, YouTube becomes even more powerful when it's deeply integrated with the game itself. On Stadia, we've made this possible via crowdplay, a feature that lets YouTube viewers play together with a creator. This can bring players back into your game, which can drive more session days, and help return value to you. Of course, all of this only applies once you're on the platform, and we've made that process much easier too. That's really a topic for another presentation, but fortunately we do have such a presentation. Please check out the talk from my friends Elizabeth, Ryan, and Robert, where they're discussing some big improvements we've made to Stadia workflows, certification, translation layers, and all kinds of other things designed to make developers' lives easier. To summarize then, Stadia continues to improve and grow as a platform in some really meaningful ways. We are now taking the next steps, expanding gameplay to more screens, investing in Stadia Pro, and bringing new value to Stadia partners, all while lowering the cost to bring your games to the platform. Speaking of which, we want you and your games on the platform. Please get in touch directly or reply at stadia.dev to find out more. Thank you.
And there we have it. Wow, that was very interesting. We took a look at 3 different sessions here. The Stadia Keynote, less time porting and certing and more time creating. And also this last session here, bringing new value to Stadia partners. So, what we can see from this is that, Google is really fully committed to lowering the barriers for bringing your games on Stadia. They've got some, improved that porting process, the tools, the certification, increased revenue share, incentives for Stadia Pro, for affiliates. It's just it's fantastic to see. And some of those tools there mentioned that it looks like it can make it quite a bit easier for people to bring their games and develop the games for Stadia. And it's interesting there that we saw in this last session that they mentioned about using State Share and Hitman. That's one of the games, actually this week's game in the Summer Community Championships that people are competing in. And a State Share was created, and custom requirements, being able to, share that easily with others and competing in it. So it made it that much more easier for things like that to take place. So it's pretty awesome to see that. I do believe that that's the last Stadia related session in today's the different sessions here. So before we head out, let's bring up Stadia Hunters, stadiahunters.com, so we can mention here. There we go, stadiahunters.com, the Summer Championship right here. So you can head over there if you're interested. It's got all the details, 4 games, 4 weeks, $1,000 grand prize. The top winner from every game gets $100 each. And I've had some questions, myself, that people have asked. No, you don't have to compete in all the games. You can compete in all 4 games because if you like to, and you have that chance to win the, up to $400 if you're top in each game. All the details are here, along with signing up. Is completely free. You get all the details here, the structure, the register, and you can look here. We've got Hitman World Assassination. There's the State Share here. So you just click on it and look at this. First place, you get $100. Second place, $50. Let's check out here. There's you can join a link to the Discord as well. There's the 3 other games. We haven't announced those yet, so those will be announced soon. And let's see if we can take a look at the leaderboard here and look at that. So we can see, you can even track your progress here, with the event. So as I said, if you're interested, head on over to stadiahunters.com, get all the details on the Summer Community Championship. It's free, it's fun, and I highly recommend it. Again, thank you everybody for coming out today. Don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe. You can reach me on Twitter, _gaming. I've got links to all my social media content in the description, so you know where you can hit me up. And take care. We will see you again on Thursday for Streets of Rage 4. I hope you enjoyed, everybody. Have a good rest of the day.